Alright, this is Nikitas from Schooly.net showing you my bus here. This is part of the roof raise series. I've already removed the windows, and today we're going to work on removing this bumper bar. This bumper bar might be a couple part series, we'll see depending on how hard it takes. I've already removed a couple screws. You'll notice there's like a ridge here. That's a cap that's over on top of the bumper bar's cap. And then on top of that, this middle thing overlaps. I'm gonna try to avoid removing that and this, and see if I can just unbolt the lower screws and then these lower rivets, and then just pull the bumper bar down. That's the plan. I hope it'll just slide out. That may not go that way, it may not work out that way, but that's what I'm going to try and do all the way down, because that would save me from having to remove a lot of additional screws. And since I'm not cutting through the windows in my roof raise, I don't have to really remove those to get to the hat channels, because I'm actually going to be cutting right in the center of the bumper bar behind it. So this bumper bar has to go so that I can hide the cuts. And then I've got another bumper bar that I bought new old stock that will go up here once it's raised. So I'll have 1, 2, 3 bumper bars, and 4 bumper bars actually. So I'll go from 3 sets to 4, and the windows will just be a foot higher. But to get these screws out, these screws, they strip very, very easily. They're extremely soft metal. They're 30 years old. They will not, you could put at the perfect size Phillips in that hole and it will still strip. It's really bad. So what I recommend doing is getting a grinder. So I have this grinder in my hand, and you need a thin blade. They make them a little thicker. I tried one here with a modified air gun one, and the blade is actually too thick. It's hard to tell on camera, but that blade is actually thicker than this blade. So this is just your traditional grinder blade. It's thin enough. The reason why you need it to be thin, because I made a mistake on this one here, and it makes it too thick. So if you try to get a flathead in there to screw it out, it will actually strip the screw, because again, the metal is that soft. Now here's what I did with the grinder, and you can see just how thin that is coming at an angle. So that should work very well for removal. So to demonstrate that, I'm gonna put the grinder down, and then I'm gonna come in here and grab my drill, put it on reverse, and I'll demonstrate one with the fat and show you why it doesn't work too good. See, it just slips out. It's too fat. So it needs to be tight on your bit. So that's why you want the thinnest that you can get. So here's one that's thin. Let's see how this goes. Comes right out, no problem. And that would have 100% guaranteed stripped if I had tried to use the Phillips head on it. And to prove my point, I will go ahead and flip it around and do a Phillips bit. So let's try to move this one. Fits in really good. It won't budge at all because it's old and it's rusted a little bit, and it's rusted to the metal. So the head is just not strong enough, and the metal is too soft. It just, well, no matter what I do, it's not gonna work. So we'll go from there, and I'll show you more as I start removing. All right, continuing on. We have some steel rivets we're gonna try to tackle. That's what happens when you just use an air hammer. It chips and paints and scratches. It's no bueno. This is what happens if you try to drill it out. Sometimes it's not straight, so you have to kind of cut at an angle to get in there so you don't hit the back sheet here. This is what you're trying to protect. This is a deep enough hole, it's not too bad. You still want to protect it, but you want to protect that too. And this is one that was drilled perfectly straight, but it still takes an air hammer to get in there and pull it out. Like, it's not loose. It would come out quite easy, but it's just not. And here's one that came out really clean. Now what I did with this one is I actually came from behind. Let me back up a bit. So this is a punch. It's a spring punch. You can do it by hand. You just take that really sharp point and you pick the middle spot of that, and then you just kind of push it in. And it leaves a nice imprint. So you can take your drill bit, you can start drilling in, try to go straight through to loosen it out. Now the problem with that is sometimes it still doesn't go straight in when you drill. The drill still likes to veer a little bit, but it helps. Without the punch, you'd be all over the place, guaranteed. So you can achieve that. That one was done with the punch. That one was done with the punch, but that also went to the side a little bit, so I had to come over to the angle and then go straight in. So that's one way to do it. The other way to do it, also, sorry, backing up, when you drill through the hole, it leaves a lot of metal shavings everywhere. You can see all the little white dots. Now I'm outside and I can't just sweep this up. I have gravel, so that's a problem. I don't want those shavings getting into my tires. It probably won't pop the tire, but slowly over time as you run over them, potentially, just, you know, it is what it is. Tires are expensive. Don't want to risk it. So I put a table under there while I drill it, and I can sweep the table off, at least out away from it, so it's not on the road. Now the other solution you can do, if you come in the bus and you have access to the back of the rivet, which most of these we do, thankfully. Come down here. So these are some of the holes that we've already made. Actually, I'm missing my drill bit, so I will be getting right back up. It's down there. Let me go grab that. I know, very unprofessional of me as a YouTuber, but very honest in how this work works. You're constantly going back up and down, up and down, up and down. Let's put that there. So another way you can do this, you can see there's some rust on these. They're not perfect. They don't perfectly seal. I'm just going to take my punch. Give it a nice hit. Take my drill. Okay. It might be a little hard to see on the camera here and change the angle, but I've gone in deep enough. I didn't drill all the way through. I've gone in deep enough that this outer wall should collapse. So if I grab the old air cat here with a really long pointed end and just stick it in there, it comes right out. No problem. We go up and look on the other side, see how good that looks. So you can see the remnant. It didn't fully come out, but it's loose enough I can just literally pull it out. And there you go. Perfectly clean hole. No issues. Doesn't really ruin it. There's some latent rust from being there for 30 years, but that can clean up easy. It doesn't look like that with it still in there. So doing it this way, I push this one, no. Yeah, these still, even though I drilled through the center, they still require an air hammer. They're not gonna come out. They're still in there pretty tight. It wouldn't take much to get them out, but it's still more work. This way is clean. These two were done the same way. They're both pretty clean. So that's what I recommend doing if you have access to the back. It's a quick, easy way to get rid of these, and that's what I recommend doing.